Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share something a little different, something that's been on my mind for a while now. It's a story, a reflection from a man named Arthur, who recently turned 81. I lived my entire life in the future tense, always saving my happiness for a day that hadn't arrived yet. My name is Arthur. I'm 81 years old, and looking back, I realized that while I was busy building a fortress against tomorrow, I let the beauty of today slip right through my fingers. It is a strange and heavy realization to have at the end of the road, that the catastrophe I spent decades preparing for was never a financial crash or a health crisis, but simply the time I wasted worrying about them. I want to take you back to when I was 30 years old, because that is when the anxiety really set in. I was a young father, a husband, and a man trying to make a mark in his career. And somewhere along the line, I convinced myself that peace was a destination I had to earn. I told myself that once the mortgage was paid off, then I could relax. I told myself that once the children were through college, then I could take my wife, Eleanor, on that trip to Italy we talked about on our first date. I treated the present moment as nothing more than a waiting room, a place to endure, while I planned for the real life that was supposed to begin once everything was secure. The problem with this way of thinking is that the goalpost never stops moving. When I got the promotion, I didn't feel relief. I felt the new pressure of keeping the job. When the savings account hit the number I had set in my head, I didn't feel safe. I just worried about inflation or the stock market crashing. I remember a specific Tuesday afternoon when my daughter, who must have been 7 or 8 at the time, came running into my home office with a drawing she had made. She was so proud, beaming with that pure, unburdened joy that children have, and she wanted to show me right that second. I was looking at a spreadsheet, calculating insurance premiums or retirement projections, and I didn't even turn my chair around fully. I told her, "Just a minute, sweetheart. Daddy is trying to make sure we're okay for the future." I can still see the little deflation in her shoulders as she walked out of the room, and it breaks my heart because I wasn't making sure we were okay. We were already okay. We had food, we had a warm house, and we had each other, but I was so terrified of losing it that I couldn't enjoy having it. I was physically present in that house for 40 years, but mentally, I was always 10 years down the road, fighting imaginary dragons. I remember dinners where Eleanor would be telling me about her day, about the garden, or a funny thing the neighbor said, and I would be nodding, but behind my eyes, I was running simulations of everything that could go wrong at the office the next morning. I was robbing her of a husband and myself of a life, all in the name of being responsible. People often mistake worry for preparation, but they are not the same thing. Preparation is packing an umbrella because it looks like rain. Worry is pacing around the living room staring at a blue sky, terrified that a storm might come next week. One spent my 40s and 50s in a state of chronic, low-level tension, a tightening in the chest that I just accepted as the price of adulthood. I thought that if I let my guard down, if I stopped anticipating the next disaster, the whole world would fall apart. I truly believed that my worry was the glue holding my family's safety together, as if my anxiety was a shield that kept the bad things away. But here is the truth I found out too late. The bad things happened anyway. The roof leaked, the car broke down, the market dipped, and we got older. My worry didn't stop any of it. It didn't soften the blow or make the solutions appear any faster. All it did was coat the good years in a layer of gray dust. We did eventually go to Italy, but by the time we went, I was 65 and my knees were bad, and I spent half the trip checking emails on my phone because old habits don't die just because you change time zones. I looked at the Colosseum and the canals of Venice, but I wasn't really seeing them. I was wondering if the house sitter had remembered to water the plants, or if my pension was performing well enough to sustain us if I lived to be 90. The most tragic part of this story isn't about money or career. It is about Eleanor. She was the opposite of me. She knew how to sit on the back porch with a cup of coffee and just watch the birds for an hour without feeling guilty. She used to try to pull me down into the chair beside her. She would say, "Arthur, look at the light coming through the trees. Just sit with me for a minute." And I would always say, "I can't right now. Al, I have to fix the latch on the gate, or I need to go over these bank statements." I always thought there would be a time for sitting. I thought that when I was 80 and the work was done, we would sit on that porch together and finally watch the birds. Eleanor passed away 4 years ago. The silence in this house is deafening. The gate is fixed, the mortgage is paid, and the bank statements are balanced perfectly. I have achieved everything I worried about achieving. I am safe. I have the financial security I sacrificed my peace of mind for, and I would trade every single cent of it to go back to that Tuesday afternoon and turn my chair around to look at my daughter's drawing. I would trade it all to sit on the porch for 10 minutes with Eleanor and not think about what I needed to do next. I look back at the younger version of myself, and I want to shake him. I want to tell him that the future he is so terrified of is going to happen whether he worries or not. I want to tell him that while he is obsessing over the destination, the journey is happening all around him, and it is beautiful, and it is fleeting. I spent my life holding my breath, waiting to exhale when I was safe, only to realize that the safety I was looking for was an illusion. There is no point in life where you are perfectly safe, where nothing can go wrong, and where you can finally grant yourself permission to be happy. If you are listening to this and you are 30 or 40 or 50, and you feel that tightness in your chest, that constant hum of what if, please listen to an old man who has reached the finish line. The future you are worrying about does not exist. It is a ghost. The only thing that is real is the chair you are sitting in, the air in your lungs, and the people who are in the room with you. Do not mortgage your today for a tomorrow that is not guaranteed. Be responsible. Yes, plan for the basics, but do not starve your soul in the present to feed a future that might not look anything like what you imagine. I am 81 years old. The future is gone. It has become the past, and all I have left is the now. I am learning, very slowly, to do what Eleanor tried to teach me all those years ago. Yesterday, I sat on the porch for an hour. I didn't bring a book. I didn't bring my phone. And I didn't think about my health, or the house, or the world. I just watched the light come through the trees. It was beautiful, but it was a bittersweet beauty, because I know now how many sunsets I missed while I was busy staring at a calendar. Don't make my mistake. Put down the spreadsheet, turn around in your chair, and look at the life that is happening right in front of you. It is the only one you are going to get,